What's up, everyone? Going a little late night sesh. So we'll see how it goes. I'm trying to get the hang on, I'm getting the stream up. Trying to get the chat up that's actually connected to everything. So see how it goes. But I got a client work tomorrow, so I'm gonna go through this list. But I got a list of I got the project open on the left hand side, and I wanted to brush up on some React stuff and just prepare for tomorrow, basically. So let's see how that goes. I just want to make sure everything's up and running though before I get too far. I think I'm live on all of them. Online. Nice. Okay. Make sure everything's up and running. Whoops. Yeah, everything looks good. So we'll see. Let's code. Well, let's brush up on some of these frameworks. So here's the list on this left-hand side of all the frameworks that the client uses in their project. So I gotta I started a boilerplate project named Client 10 Sandbox, and we'll see how it goes. We'll kind of do I'm gonna try to use some of these frameworks and kind of just get good idea what's going on. So I think the chat is consolidating to all of them, but we'll see. We'll see if it works. I have the other ones up on different windows, so I'll check them periodically. All right, so let's see. All right, cool. So I think this first one we'll start with, I don't know, we'll just pick one. Some of the stuff like I know and some of the stuff I don't know, like axios I've definitely used a ton. I've used this for all the web, just like HTTP requests. I've used material, Font Awesome, those are all basic libraries. Signalr I've used in the past, but I haven't used it in a React project, so see how that works. Octus for authentication, Babel. So some of the stuff I know is small libraries. Lodash is one that I need to research. I've already opened up a couple tabs, but we'll see. This is basically a brush up stream. This is kind of like for me to kind of get ramped up for tomorrow. If anyone has any questions, we'll learn it together. See how it goes, you know? All right, so the first one, let's do formik. So formik, to face it, forms are really verbose in React, makes it worse. I'd like to basically build a project using some of these libraries. So maybe I can build some basic stuff, see how it works. Let's do yup. Okay, so we'll install this. If the music's too loud, let me know too. From what I understand, yup is just a library to basically like do form validation. So basically something where I can, where's the page again? Yeah, JavaScript schema builder for parsing validation. So for example, if you had like a property that needs to be a string or requires a string or an integer or something like that, you can use yup to verify that that actually is what it is. So let's install it and test it out. Using TypeScript, installing yup, typing. No, I'm not using TypeScript, so it's fine. Again, it'll be a brush up on React too, so we'll kind of play it by ear. Are we done installing it? Nope. So let's review what it actually is here. So you basically use it like yup object shape, and then you pass in an object. And then basically does it actually send like a boolean of whether it's valid or not, or does it throw an error? How does it work? Oh, so okay, I see. So basically you use this object, you call the function shape and pass in the object that you're trying to require like certain fields for. Okay, so yup string required number, and then you pass it into a variable and then check its validity. Oh, I see. So we're building the actual parameters to validate against, and then whenever we call schema.isValid, we're actually pass in and see what we need, or if it works. And then it has a function that's basically then, and then it'll tell us whether it's true or not. You can try some typecast objects to define the schema. What does that do? So cast. We'll have to try that. All right, are we installed? Wow, that's taking forever. Why is the yup taking forever? Is it that big of a library? I feel like it shouldn't be. You know? Don't like how long it's taking though to install. That makes me worried. Like, why is yup so big? But we can get into the project, probably start coding it. We don't have to wait for it to install. Again, it's been so long since I've been in React that I have to remember so much. This is the app, index.js, we render app, gotcha. So maybe I'll do a little brush up on React too, because it's been well over a year. If I'm doing client work on it, it's probably not a good thing to jump into, like without any brush up on. Done yet? All right, whatever. We'll start coding it now. So I'm just gonna pass in some like basic stuff and maybe build demo app. I don't know. We'll see. So we'll import yup in. Again, none of this is gonna be clean. This is just make sure I understand what everything does. There's no like hidden stuff or hidden gotchas. What do you do require? Alright, let's try that. So we're gonna steal the exact demo and then console.log the valid. And see if if we got everything proper. Okay, thank goodness that's done. Why did that take so long? Expected assignment or function call. Instead saw an expression. Line 25. Expected an assignment or function call. Instead saw an expression. What? Well, this is a promise, so maybe we make it an anonymous function. See what happens. Well, that seemed to work. Alright, so true. Okay, there we go. Getting some traction. Let me make sure I have the comments up too. Alright, so what happens if we require the email? This should fail, right? So it should pass. It should be invalid. We'll actually add a little bit of verbosity to it, so valid. Oh, require email is not a function, huh? Oh, I gotta do it at the end, maybe? Oh, it's not. I didn't actually put the parentheses afterwards. My bad. There we go. Okay, cool. So that makes sense. This is not very complex stuff. Again, I just wanted to test it out. So email, and if we pass in an invalid email, it should probably fail. So false. Okay, what if I pass in at gmail.com? True. Nice. Okay, so yup's pretty straightforward. We're gonna leave this stuff in here for basically almost like a Cliff Notes kind of thing. Yup, makes sense. I probably don't need to look too much into the advanced functionality of it. I just need the basics, enough to get by, really. Get them hugs in there. Hey, what's up, John? How are you doing? Okay. Yup's easy. Got that. Alright, let's go down to something else. Let's take something else low hanging. Formik seems like an easy one. I know it's form validation, so let's test that out. So let's face it, forms are really verbose in React. To make matters worse, most of the helpers do way too much magic. Building out our new building, we're going to have so much fun. There's so much more room. Nice. Yeah, I haven't. It's been way too long. But wait, when didn't you guys get the building? Did you get another building, or is it the one that you guys were looking to move into a while back? Because that was a bit ago, I thought. Alright, where's some examples of formik? Let's do the npm package. Make sure I understand this too. Basics, that's what I'm looking for. Well, first off, let's install it. Oops. Oh. Alright. We bought it in February of this year. and it's one we've been looking into for like a year and a half. Academy will be there too. Everything is in one space. Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay, so it is the same space. Projects. I think it's sandbox is what this is in. I think I called it like client 1 random text box. There we go. Oh, what's up, Jake? Streaming a coding session on Facebook. Yeah. Yeah, I got client, like I said, I got client work tomorrow that's in React. And it's basically, here's their dependency list. And I'm not familiar with all, well, I would say like 30% of these I'm not familiar with or need brush ups on. So basically doing a little brush up session. I figured I'd stream it. See if anyone else has any questions. Hell no, I didn't write my tests first. Dude, this project's gonna be so, like, this is a throwaway project. There's no way I'm writing tests. I mean, God forbid I even do them normally, so. Alright, I'm not feeling this song right now either. Alright, so it's not actually consolidating all the chat channels from all the different sources, so we'll try it. We'll keep going. Alright, formik, or formik, whatever it's called. Did we do basics? Is there any in this project now? Alright, so it looks like we have a component here, initial values. It's just an object. Then they bind on submit schema validation. Oh, so they tie yup with it too. That's nice. Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube, John. I'm on all of them. I mean, yeah, probably shouldn't be on Twitch, but it's fine. Okay. So this seems pretty straightforward too. It's basically, so what they're doing, they're just basically adding a wrapper around to capture events. Is that kind of the gist of it? So formik, you basically, because they have a render component, right? Yeah, it's this, right? No, wait. We'll see. No, here it is. Yeah. So basically, yeah, they render the actual form, and then this is just used to bind the events to, right? To be honest, I don't think I created a form naturally in React, so I don't know the actual benefits of what I'm getting right now, of why formik is good, but we'll try it out. We'll make sure I understand it. Practicing. All right, so let's steal the import library up at the top, and then just go ahead and steal this. They've got a special component in the form near the bottom before the form closes. They have a special component. This one, the display form. Oh, I see this one. The display formik state. So it adds like, I see. And it looks like you tie it to yup too. Kind of get both of them play well together. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's just steal this code and dissect it a little bit. That way I understand it a little bit better. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of the learn more. Oh, header, I don't want that. Do it outside of the header actually. Okay. The yup object shape, we're just basically doing an email component and requiring it. Does that just work naturally? Let's see. where'd my screen go? Keep opening up. I have too many Chrome windows open. There it is. Alright, yup is not defined. Probably because I capitalized it, huh? We're gonna update it up here. It'll be easier to update this one than all of the other ones. Display form state is not defined. Is that something we have to import? It is. Oh wait, no. So that's is that something they created? Helper. So that's something they created though. That's not a custom. Okay, wait. So that's not a native thing by formik. So we'll check that out. We might even just steal the helper class. But it looks like it's just a div with a header. I don't even know what a pre-tag is, honestly. Alright, so shrinkifies the props. Okay, let's try it out. Let's check it out. We'll just copy the whole helper in. And then we'll dissect it from there. Apparently it is, yes. Wonder if it's just a stringify. Wait, say it again. Apparently it is, yes. Wonder if it's just a stringify so you can see what's happening. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. JSON stringify. Basically takes the props and displays it in a certain way. I mean, I could just take this right into... We're going to take the whole helper just so we have it. I don't want to take everything too far. I'd rather get it working and then dissect it. So we'll take this whole helper in here. The more resources we don't need. Let's just steal this. So yeah, this is just basically stringifying it. So we could, instead of taking the helper, we could just delete it or just stringify it, right? That's probably better actually, just so I don't confuse myself. Props. I'm back and forth, wish-washing. All right, let's import that in. Get rid of more resources, we don't have that. And then display it for my K. Here we go. Okay, so we have this. Oh, nice. Doxing myself again. Okay. Wow, that's so small. We'll just zoom in. Okay, so props values. Oh, that's so bulky. I hate that format. He must be an email. Okay, well, let's make it an email. Okay. So again, yeah, these are just wrapping the events, right? That's all formik is doing. So let's go back to the project real quick. Make sure. So you can initialize the values with preset stuff. Cool. On the submit, you can capture and do whatever you need to do. Right now, they're just alerting the JSON values of whatever the form had. The validation schema is using yup. But what is yup format to? Like, what do these functions return? I don't care enough, honestly. I understand how it's working. I don't care about the inner workings of it. And then it passes in props that we can validate against. So like if the form is dirty or touched or whatever else. So if they've modified any of them, so we can display color states. Okay, we have a handle change on the actual form object. That's when we actually pass in the functions that the wrapper is passing down into. That makes sense. I didn't see where you got this example from, but there's a cleaner version of formik site. Yeah, I think I got it from formik. I don't remember. Maybe the npm. No, I got it from here. I got it from the npm package. So formik. Where's their actual site? Is it on the GitHub? Oh no, that is the Jared. Okay, Jared Palmer is the actual reference. I didn't click tutorial. I only did overview. So yeah, okay. Is this the cleaner version that you were talking about, John? So does this okay? So you have to use the JSX object, or does? I guess I didn't have to use this. I could just use like a function that returns probably a JSX object. I'm assuming. Validation looks for an object called errors. That errors message for different types. Okay. Basically, that's what the function should return. Okay. Makes sense. I think, like, again, I don't need the advanced details of this. I just need the basics. So that's all good. Material UI. So it looks like they have extensions for material. D. Okay. Yup. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of. I don't know. So some of these, like, we don't need lint. I know that stuff. Go ahead and get rid of that. Moment. That's the date library. We're fine. SAS. I don't really need. None of that. React is fine. There's some probably React projects I don't really know too much, but I don't really need to know them. I'm on a fast track to the basics. That's what I'm doing. Oh, I was asking about yup. You're asking about yup. Oh, basically that's what the function should return. Okay, I see. You're talking about yup. So the function, it basically declares what the function should return. Gotcha. Redux, I know, but Redux Thunk, I think, was one of the things that I wasn't sure what that was, what Thunk was exactly. So I'll have to figure that one out too. Ah, I think I have a 30-second. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, it gets a little confusing though. Alright, Axios, I know. Maybe I'll build something with Axios. Maybe I'll do some like maybe example project would be building a form using yup and formik, submitting to like the Swipey API or something like that. And then maybe storing it to like a Redux store or something like that. But we'll keep going down through. I'll look at signalr at some point, but font awesome we can get rid of. I know that. Material we can get rid of. Octa I'm not going to do now. Babel I don't need. env cmd is just for environment variables. We'll get rid of that. History Lodash, all these I don't think I need, but keep going down one by one. So what's class names? I don't think I've ever heard of that. Assume it's something simple, but we'll see. Class names npm package. Okay, so simple JavaScript utility for conditionally joining class names together. Oh, okay. The foobar. But why wouldn't you just put spaces? Is class names? Isn't class names just? I forget in JavaScript or in React. Can't you already specify multiple class names? Like, why would you need a library to combine them together? You know what I mean? This package officially replaces class set, which is originally shipped with the React JS add-on buttons. What's the benefit though? So you can add conditional statements to it? Can't you do that already? Like with just a string? Is there examples? Other examples? I would like to know what the benefit of this library is. You can look at the example that does a true false. Yeah, I think that was, but again, you can just do that with string concatenation. So does it add that much simplicity to add like a function? I feel like it kind of takes away from readability, like this, right? So if foo is false, bar is true, it'll just add it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree. Okay, not a big deal. People love objects, yeah. I mean, frankly, I would never bloat my project for a library where you can do string concatenation already. Like, you could even make a helper, like, to do the same thing. I feel like that's super small. Hey, puppy. All right, let's continue down the list. Class names, don't care. But if I ever see it, but that is nice to know in case I see it anywhere. I'll be like, okay. If I see class names, I know it's concatenated class together based on objects, additional, whatever. Okay, concurrently. I'm not touching signalr yet. I know that's a big one. So, okay, concurrently. Run multiple commands concurrently. Oh, okay, so that's for like environment stuff. Okay, don't need that one. I mean, it's nice to know. Basically, that's for multiple kind of commands at the same time, right? That's for like adding like a watcher to like running the project as well, maybe. All right, see you, John. Thanks for stopping in, man. All right, connected React router. Redux binding for React router v5 or v4 and v5. Okay, main features synchronized router state Redux store through unidirectional flow. History store router components. Okay, this might be one I have to tie into Redux. So basically, in your root reducer file, create a function that takes history as an argument and returns the root reducer. Add router reducer into the root reducer by passing history to connected router. Connected router. Okay, so this is just a library to help keep track of like backs and stuff, I would assume. Yeah, history. Place connected router under the provider. So it's routing. It's like a back button or whatever else you need to. I don't know if it actually ties to the back button or whether they just want. But yeah, let's see the examples actually before I take. Wait, why would you connect it to Redux? So hang on, maybe I don't think I'm understanding this properly. Synchronize router state. Redux store through. Okay, it's history store router components. Batching history events. So with Redux, basically storing immutable states of your project, of data, just essentially. And I think what this is doing is connecting the actual router flow into the Redux store so that you can, if you navigate from like home to X page, you can have a whole chain of history of where you went to and go back to. If I understand that properly. Like if I hit the back button right here, I go back to like the Google search. With this, you'll be able to navigate internally within the website. Probably not on the back button, but you can dispatch events. So like we could have a button that says back, and it would go back to that page. It would go back to your previous page, right? Like if you navigated to it directly from X source, you would have that history. Is my understanding. Again, not a big thing that I need to. I probably won't implement this because I don't have to add a bunch of router state. Man, I'm not doing this song either. Alright. That's fine. Makes sense. For the most part. Sorry, I'm cleaning up tabs on this other side. Hang on. Alright, cool. I'm okay with calling that one understood. I'm more worried about Redux and Redux Dunk and stuff like that. But we'll keep going down through file saver. I assume this is literally what it says. It's some place to save documents or something of that sort, but you never know until you read what it is. If you need to save really large files, bigger than the blob size limit, or don't have enough RAM, then look at more advanced streams saver. So basically import file saver examples. Yep, just for saving documents. And I'm not too worried about getting the inner workings of this. That's fine. History. Is this tying in with the whoops. Probably helps if I put npm after it. History npm. This history library lets you easily manage session history anywhere JavaScript runs. The history object abstracts away differences in various environments, provides minimal API that lets you manage history stack, navigate, persist between sessions. So wait, this sounds like what the other one was. Did you need both of them? Is that why? Like, I wonder if they're dependent. Okay. Yet development, current stable release. Nope. Wait, let's bring up that other one. What was the other one called again? I don't remember. It was connected React router. Yeah, add that one back into the list real quick. Okay, what's the difference then? Connected React router, or yeah, connected React router. Tongue twister. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading right now. Wrap your React router with a connected router and pass the history object as a prop. Remember to delete any usage of browser router or native router, as leaving this will cause problems synchronously or synchronizing state. So what's history then? I guess this one puts it to redux. This one does what? Does this one even use redux? History object abstracts away differences in various environments. Okay. Well, I know this one saves to the your Redux store. I guess the other one just like kind of manages or like adds a wrapper to this save history or track history. I don't know. That's the best I got. Not gonna spend too much time on it. Class names is fine. For my K, we got. Go ahead and get rid of those. Lodash. I've heard of Lodash. I don't remember what it is, honestly. So Lodash npm. Yes. What's that? Is that ECMAScript? Lodash library exported as ES modules. Dash Lodash. So are these just helpers and stuff? ECMAScript. What is the Lodash library? Modern JavaScript utility library delivering modularity, performance, and extras. Give me an example. Give me something that Lodash does. That's what I want to see. Like, if I remember correctly, like Lodash, we used it back on one of my old jobs that would basically like do stuff with yeah, arrays. Okay, so creates an array and implements splits into groups into length size. Okay, so Lodash would be chunk. Okay, so package is basically an extension for us to use the Lodash framework as an npm package, right? And Lodash has a ton of different things, which makes sense. Okay. We have Lodash in a default project? No, we don't. The only thing we have in a default React project is React, these three, and then testing stuff. Alright, get Lodash out of here. Alright, so it just basically provides it. Alright, normalizer. What is this one? Many APIs, public or not, return JSON that is deeply nested object. Using data in this kind of structure is often very difficult for JavaScript applications, especially those using Flux or Redux. Yeah, okay. Normalizer is a small but powerful utility for taking JSON with a schema definition and returning nested entities with their IDs gathered in dictionaries. That sounds interesting. Okay. Consider a typical blog post. An API response for a single post might look something like this. Yep. You have nested entity types with article and users and comments. Using various schema, we can normalize all three entity types down. So schema, define the user schema. So that would be the entire object. Entity users, define comments schema, so comments. The commenter user, and then define your article, which would be articles have a user and a comments. Then you normalize the data. So normalized data will be results, entities, articles, users. Oh, okay. I see. So you define the schema of like the parent object, like so it's comments, the user object, and then well, this is the user object. This is the comment object. What was the other one? An article. An article is the parent object, the whole thing. Okay, so it puts it as like almost a relational DB at that point, so that I can reference everything by the ID. And then I can say users. Okay, well let's. Do I actually want to try that? It makes sense. I don't need to. I feel like I need to put things in that don't make sense. Right? Okay, that makes sense. Normalizer. It's cool because I can use a lot of these these packages in Angular too. So, React I don't need. Polyfill, autobind, DOM I don't need. Draggable, it's fine. Line ellipses. I don't know what this is. Google it. What's Lottie? Lottie animation view for React. Wrapper. So Lottie options. Is there like an example? Can I see it? I would like to see a demo, please. No demos? Oh, here we go. Oh. Well, that's interesting. Oh, this is cool. So basically, it's like an animation library. Default options loop autoplay animation data. Is this the data that okay. Pin jump JSON. Okay. Looking for Lottie files. That's cool. Oh, these are really cool. So these are like super performant animations that you can add in. What animations do we have? Too recent. So this is just JavaScript data that you can put into your projects. That's super cool. No, I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to sign up for any of it. But that's super cool. Body wrapper for body movement JS. So there's like Lottie, which would be a lot of the just native animations, and then apparently body movement's an alternative. Still called Lottie Web as an Airbnb product. This is cool, but I feel like you can do something similar with SVGs, but maybe not to this complexity. I actually don't know. I know you can do like some animation with SVGs, but this one seems like way more powerful, which is pretty cool. Okay, makes sense. Not gonna do too much with it. React Redux. Here's some of the bigger ones. Official React binding for Redux. Gotcha. We'll do a little brush up. It's been a bit. We probably won't implement much, but definitely passing on that one too. Okay. So React's Redux provides provider, which makes a Redux store available for the rest of your app. Okay, that's cool. React Redux provides connect function for you to connect to your components in the store. Normally, you can call connect this way. I definitely should implement this in my project, just because like the fact that if I don't do this, I just won't understand it. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. You also need to install Redux, set up a Redux store app. So provides provider. So we'll go ahead and wrap our provider object or our app in a provider. What's strict mode? I don't even know what that is. Get rid of that comma too. What is React strict mode? Strict mode is a tool for highlighting potential problems in an application like fragment. Strict mode does not render any visible UI. It activates additional checks and warnings for its descendants. Okay. So people apparently remove that because they don't want to deal with it. That's what I'm looking at. It's a provider and store. It probably strict mode should be the parent thing. So connect to make React Redux provides a connect function for you to connect your components to the store. Normally you'll call connect this way. So if we have our props, our own props, all right. So we'll have connect map state to props and then map dispatch to props. So these would be the dispatch would be the functions that you need to do, and the props would be the state of the application, right? Counter. so you pass the state in, and then you surround the whole component. All right. So let's do a basic tutorial then. Make sure I understand everything. To do example. Yeah, I don't want to implement all this. I kind of just want to brush through it and make sure I understand it. I mean, I know Redux, but how it's implemented into React, I don't know, because I've only used Redux in Angular. So, and I see it in other projects, but I never really have to do anything too crazy with it. I just have to use it. So, all right. Normally you can call connect this way. I think we just talked about this. So you have state to props and dispatch to props. So you're basically binding your getters and your actions and your retrieval of the data to the props object of each component, and then you use that connect function to put them together. Connect returns a new function that accepts the component to wrap. It's a little loud. Connected component. Okay, so this is just shorthand syntax for this. So basically you're wrapping the, yeah, okay, it makes sense now, because basically it's taking the store access and combining them to props events. That's all this is doing. So then you can have access in your components to the Redux store. These would be our actions to do. We have our ID and our payload. That makes sense. All of that's fine. So, okay, so when we're calling it though, handle add to do and add to do. So when we have our React component, we have a function for handling an add of X object in the example. This.props.add to do dispatches the action which was defined up here. Right here. Okay. Because it's now bound as a property, so the function's available. And then you pass in the state of whatever you wanted to pass in. And then set the state back. Okay. Then you bind the property to a click event. Makes sense as well. What's this one? This is... I think this all makes sense. I don't have to go. I don't want to go into too deep of a rabbit hole where I'm talking about React stuff or Redux. All right. So React router. I think that's just the standard router navigation between pages. Oh. Just a clarification too. I have client work tomorrow that has a React project that has a bunch of dependencies in the project. I've been going down through each dependency, just making sure I understand what everything's doing. So we've gotten down pretty far. A lot of these I knew. I just kind of wanted to brush up and make sure I fully understood them before tomorrow, so I'm not like caught with my pants down when I'm trying to implement something and I'm like, what is this framework? What is this library? A lot of them are pretty bloated, like unneeded libraries, but that's fine. So React router. Yeah, provided core function routing functionality for React router, but you might not want to install it directly if you're writing an application that will run in the browser. You should instead use React Router DOM. Similarly, if you're writing a React Native application, you should instead install React Router Native. Both will install React Router as a dependency. Okay, so this is a dependency to other frameworks. Yeah, and there's the React Router DOM, and here's query parameters as well. Those all make sense. Don't need to go too far into those. React scripts, I don't need. React select. There's a select box. Dropdowns. npm. Doesn't look, well, yeah, it does actually. It's a select, okay, React select, a flexible and beautiful select input control for React.js with multi-select autocomplete, asynchronous, or async and creatable support. Yeah, so it's just a drop down for, but they're using material too, so why would they use React select? Not, don't they have material in here? They had material. I deleted it. Yeah, they had material. Apparently, they didn't want to use materials. Materials library, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. All right. So React select, I don't really need to worry too much about. It's fine. Okay, what's next on the list? React select we can get rid of. I'm not tackling signalr yet. React swipeable views. I don't know what this is. I'm assuming it's for swipeable views, but might as well look it up too. Okay. Don't have a readme. Cool. Okay. So how does it use it? It just makes a swipeable view JSX object and then has the slides in each of them. Then I guess you just display. Does it take each root component? Is that how that works? Let's look at another one. View. React Native supports is experimental. Oh, I don't really care about React Native right now. I only really care about demos. Yeah, so it looks like it just takes the parent slide or whatever and uses that. Alright, cool. And then is this a slide down? No. Set a constant height and let the swipe and scroll behavior work in harmony. It's not swiping. Not swiping. Why isn't it swiping? Well, that one didn't work. This one didn't work either. This one works, but the other ones don't. Does it have to be on mobile? Like, does it need like a touch view? Check. This has a scroll, but normally that stuff has a native componentry to it. I guess they're just trying to make it responsive, right? Okay, that's interesting. Okay, cool. Easy framework, easy one to knock off the list. Swipeable views, easy. We don't really need this. That's just the other stuff. Toastify, I already know what that is. That's just toast messages. React use. Oh, 10 p.m. Okay, what is this? This is the library. Is there a readme or anything? Just gives me a thumbs up. Home page, here's the readme. Again, a thumbs up. React use. What is this library? Ton of contributors, oh my gosh. Anything? What is this? Docs? What is this? There's not even like a terrible readme. React use, is it just tracks the battery state? Is this for mobile stuff? Sensors, geolocation, hover. Use audio, animations, side effects, local storage. Okay. I guess it's just a library for mobile stuff? I mean, use battery, geolocation, use hover, hash, idle. All of those are mobile stuff. So I wonder if it's like, without having a React Native project, it's just like browser support, right? Charging true level, charging time 0. I'm gonna open it up on my phone. See if it's any better. This is code. Oh, this is gonna be tough. I'm gonna link it to myself because I can't currently type on my phone. Yeah, I would like to open it up in my own, on my phone to see if it's just tracking browser stuff in on mobile. That's what it's doing. Like it's adding a browser wrapper. Yep. The battery level 60%. Doesn't have any charging status. But if I plug it in, oh, I don't have the, whoops. Don't have USB-C cable here right now. Okay, whatever. I give up. But yeah, so that's what it looks like it is actually. Looks like this is for mobile support. Like browser, a non-native device accessing the browser. This provider. Oh, this is the store. I was gonna implement Redux, which I may still do. We'll see. Because I'm waiting to get to React or Redux Thunk before I do that. So use for mobile stuff, React window. I assume this is just another native thing to access the window object. React. That seems pretty straightforward. Skipping that one too. Okay. Some of these songs are just not hitting well here. Good one. Forgot what I was gonna say. Shit. Yeah, it does. It seems like it seems like it's just again access to fixed size. So React window. I thought it was to access like events on the window. Well, okay, yeah, so it's to see window size, I guess. Fixed size. We're even using this as list. Okay, so list. Yeah, okay, I guess it's just making. Is this an iframe? Is that why it's able to do that? Because I was thinking, like, it's supposed to be the browser width, not necessarily like a width of a div. Like, that's what the window should be. But if this isn't an iframe, isn't this just a div tag that they're implementing? Resizing? Like, why would it matter? Yeah, no. It's not an iframe. Which is good because iframes are a security vulnerability, but I was confused on what this is actually doing. I mean, it seems like that's what the library is designed to do. React window is a complete rewrite. That's fine. Okay, I honestly don't care enough about this one. It doesn't seem like it seems like a low-hanging fruit. All right, let's move on to the next one. Redux, we have already started on. Redux persist is for saving the state of your application. I know that one, so that's fine. Let's do Redux Saga, though. I don't know what that is. What is Redux Saga? Redux Saga, see our website. Cool. Redux Saga is a library that aims to make application side effects asynchronous thing like data fetching and impure things like accessing browser cache easier to manage. Okay, so this is basically is this the way Redux connects to HTTP requests and stuff? Is that kind of the concept? I think so. Yeah, let's see some examples. That's what I want to see. So we have the user ID and the dispatch. Those we have a UI to fetch some data from user data, or fetch some user data from a remote server, and then when the button is clicked for brevity, you'll just show an action triggered code, or you will just show the action triggering code. The component dispatch is a plain object action store will create a saga that watches for all the user fetch requested actions and then triggers an API call to fetch the user data. Okay, so yeah, this is the library to connect to an external source. So like if you're using Redux and saving your application state to the browser or to the Redux store, well, just to the Redux store, when you dispatch the actions, it's just for like internal state usually, and then if you like refresh the page, it would wipe out the data, unless you were using like persist or something. But if you needed those actions to talk to a asynchronous API, like some third-party API or something, that stuff would need to be like, you need a separate thing for to make that action dispatch out and update the store appropriately. Like I think in Angular it's like redux. Can't remember what it is. And oh no, it's ng or rsjx. I think is what they use for it. But this one seems like what the React version of that same thing is. So worker saga will be fired. So if we had fetch user and we passed in the action of the redux store, right? Oh, it does yield. Okay. Does the API call, waits for the user object to be put back. Okay. And then it basically does a put back to the effects of the redux store. So it'll update it whether it succeeded or failed. Usually, like if you're updating a redux store, you'd have like an object that would say like get user data and has the user data in there. And then whenever you would dispatch that action, it would update the redux store to say like processing or like dispatched or some sort of like indicator to say we're currently retrieving the data. And then whenever the effect, then it triggers the effect that goes and sends actually to the API call and captures whether it succeeds or fails. So the API, if it fails, it'll then update to that status to failed, and then do whatever error handling you have in place. If it is successful, then it'll actually input the user data into there. And that's kind of what this is doing. It's like a wrapper for that. The call put, yeah, take latest. I think it was RxJS for Angular that I was using. This is the similar library. Starts to fetch user on each dispatched. Allows concurrent fetches of the user. Yeah, this is exactly like RxJS. Oh, Rx. Yeah. Okay. See, that's like the first result in a Firebase app. Should be Angular here. Yeah, see like in RxJS, it does it on observables. Basically, you have like these error handlers, like next error complete, and this is what you would bind like a fetch endpoint. All right, cool. Redux saga, understood. All right, what's thunk? Actually, before we get to those ones, let's skip ahead. Let's do reselect. I feel like these ones will be easier to knock out. Oh, there's a big ass mosquito. Okay, so reselect, simple selector library for Redux. Others inspired by X, whatever these are. So create selector. Oh, so this is a wrapper for selectors into a Redux store. So if we had like state.shop.items, this is the selector for it, okay, which is just a function. And if we do create selector, so what's it doing though? Because you could do that. You could call this function. You can kill this damn bug, mosquito, before it gets me. All right, let's see. Dude, I gotta. This thing is. Damn it. Missed it. Alright. Okay, so what are these doing? We had the subtotal selector. No wait. Yeah, the subtotal selector, which what's the benefit of this? It's just a function. Like you can do that after you've done the selector. Anyways, like a lot of the stuff you can just make helper functions that do the same thing. So I'm trying to understand why people would import these packages that have like just thus like bloating up your package library, like just like compilation size and your import size, like because all of those packages have to get compiled down, and then they have to get downloaded each time to the client browser. So like why would you import another package when you can do these things? Like the other one was class names. Like why would you make this like import this library called class names that concatenates classes together when you can just do that with string concatenation? Anyways, not gonna get caught up on that. But subtotal, so let me try to understand this. Items reduce whatever this is, so it's reducing the size, so it's basically getting the subtotal of all of the items in the list, which I get, and then assigning it to a selector property. But what can you do with that? Is it a way to combine multiple selectors? What are some productivity helpful, useful programs on PC that you use as a dev? Productivity tools. Well, depends on your stack, right? So if you're using Visual Studio Code, there's just some extensions that are super nice. Like bracket pair colorizer is a super nice thing that highlights like where your brackets end, like start and end. So let me see if I can find an example. Like see how this little line goes blue right here? I'll zoom in. See how it like shows where the bracket ends at? That's something super useful extension wise. If you're talking something new nobody knows, I don't know. I feel like these are all common things. Whoops. I'm in the wrong thing. So yeah, there's a bunch of extensions. Like I use the material color tool. There's what other thing? Prettier code formatter on save event. It actually formats your code. Like I don't think I could live without that, honestly. So for example, if I had this, like if I made this new div right here and had XYZ in here, right? Like it's on one line. If I hit save, the prettier code formatter will format it for me. So let me try to make something a little bit more complex. Like a nested paragraph tag. So if I had like a bunch of nested stuff that I was typing out, like, oh, I want to put a span in here and do some XYZ stuff, it's all on one line, it enforces a syntax that's saved. Or if like you made these single quotes, it'll save and update them to double quotes. It basically enforces a syntax that's really nice for source control. Like if you have everyone on your team that is following the same syntax, you'll never have like people updating or having sloppy code. It does it for you. PowerShell has some nice tools and stuff that you can use. Like you can always write custom PowerShell scripts to do automation. Like I'm trying to kill this damn bug in my room for the past 10 minutes or so. He's fucking annoying me. But yeah, like so sometimes I have to rewrite the encoder for some of my videos that I record. So I wrote this custom PowerShell script. Where's it at? Yeah, like PowerShell vid 1 that basically takes my video name and processes recodes all the headers. Stuff like basically PowerShell, is what I'm saying, is a nice tool to use as well if you don't use that. or any CMD. Like you can use just like Bash scripts, for example. Learning Bash or PowerShell or something can really improve your productivity. Other things, if you're in the .NET stack, ReSharper is really awesome. ReSharper does a lot of code formatting for you. Other than that, like, I don't know if you have any other framework ideas or something like that that you're looking for. Like if you're looking for shorthand syntax and stuff like that, or are you just looking for like extensions and framework and stuff that makes my life easier? Like PowerShell makes my life easier, and then like extensions that enforce consistency is another thing. So in Visual Studio Code has a ton of extensions for this. There's like this, I haven't gotten too much into this honestly. So basically you can like do code snippets like this, like div container, and it puts like a, I haven't done that too much honestly, so I can't suggest it. Hopefully that helped. If not, I'm sorry. Sorry, I couldn't help. What was reselect again? Oh, so are they memorized? So reselect is memorized selectors? Like, does it cache it in a specific way? Is that kind of why? Trying to find some more documentation to kind of show the benefits of this library. But again, we're almost through the list of stuff that I like have to at least get familiar with for client work tomorrow. So I think I'm feeling pretty good about pretty much all the frameworks. We have a couple big ones at the end that we'll have to kind of spend some time into, but all right. Well, I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. Retry, I assume, is just a function to retry an HTTP request. I guess. We'll see. PM. This example below will retry a potential failing DNS resolve operation 10 times by using exponential backoff strategies. Okay. Yeah, okay, so it's for retrying like HTTP requests or whatever operations, X strategy wise. So like one of the strategies would be like a diminishing return kind of thing. So like retry, and then it'll keep going slower and slower and slower until like X timeout or whatever. Okay, that makes sense. Easy peasy. Alright, smooth scroll polyfill. Dude, I gotta kill this damn video. He's just taunting me at this point. Both scripts, the TypeScript will detect a specific if the spec is natively supported and take action when necessary. So this is for download the production. Okay, so this is just an extension for the scroll feature or scroll behavior on the Windows object. And it covers multiple browsers in native support, I guess. I'm reading that correct. okay with that one. Styled components. I feel like this one's used a lot too. We'll see what this is. npm. Let's see. Okay, no readme. That's cool. Visual primitives for component age. Use the best bits of ES6 and CSS style your apps without stress. Oh, okay, so this is for CSS, huh? That's interesting. Basically, styled a. This renders the button above. Huh? Okay, so this is just a helper for CSS styles. But how's it used though? Style.button. So is this the HTML element? And then like a global thing for it? Alternative. Oh, okay, so you can use like the backticks. What's that called? Tilde? Or you can use like an actual object with a function. Equivalent to, okay. Style compatible is compatible with React, that's fine. Yeah, it looks like these are the HTML elements and a way to style them. That's title, but how do you create a title tag component that renders an H1, which is centered. Oh, okay, so this makes a JSX object that's actually an H1 that's styled. I see. So these are just reusable components that you can make, use in different places. Okay, that makes a lot of sense as well. That's interesting syntax though. I don't know how that works. I don't know how syntax, like that syntax works, but that's fine. Style components is good. That's easy enough. Just basically how to style a CSS without, like, there's why do they have class names if they're using that? Like if they're making styled components. All right, so let's do React or Redux Thunk. I don't know what this one is. I have a feeling it's something bigger. Why do I need this? If you're not sure whether you need it, you probably don't. Well, they use it, so. An action creator that returns a function performed asynchronous dispatch. What is what's a thunk? A thunk is a function that wraps an expression to delay its evaluation. So calculation 1 of 2 is immediate, calculation 1 of 2 is delayed. Foo can be called later to perform this calculation. Foo is a thunk. Okay, makes sense. It's just the method declare or the property that is essentially a function that you can call for later. But you can do that with just native JavaScript. So what is thunk? Like what? Enable Redux Thunk, use apply middleware. Is this to like delay like API calls and stuff? I don't even know. React Thunk. If this API requires this, okay. So we have a Redux store with the reducer. We apply middleware, which is Thunk. So return the inner function will be available and return. What is Thunk? Right. So okay. So is this what dispatches the React Saga? Oh no. Okay. So React Saga was the helper libraries to do like success and fail, and I think Thunk is the thing that actually dispatches the action. So return any value of the inner function will be available to return value of dispatch itself. So we have the store and we apply this middleware of Thunk. Fetch. I'm not sure I understand this one, to be honest. Is there another example that I can look at? Maybe I go to the GitHub or something. Why do you need middleware for asynchronous flow in Redux? This article looks like it tells what they are and what they solve for. Good. Pretty large though. Thunks are functional programming technique used for delayed computation. Instead of performing some work now, you produce a function or body or an evaluated expression, which can optionally be used to perform work later. Okay, so that would be for like the HTTP calls. So if you did like something to the Redux store, like add user or something like that, the thunk could be the middleware that actually dispatches the HTTP request to the API. I guess so. Kind of want to look at this again. See what's going on. So it looks like they have like a GET request right here, right? They have their thunk middleware. These are normal action creators you have seen so far. The actions they return be dispatched without any middleware. Yeah, okay, I see that. However, they only express facts and not asynchronous flow. Okay. Alright, I gotta change the song again, because too much for right now. Alright, so these are again just functions that are returning an object for the Redux store. And then store.dispatch. So this would be you're dispatching an action, which would be this object. Again, that's all just native Redux stuff. Even without middleware, you can dispatch an action. But what you do when you need to start, what do you do when you need to start an asynchronous action, such as an API call or a router transition? That makes sense. He thunks. A thunk is a function that returns a function. This is a thunk. So make a sandwich with secret sauce for person. So verdict control returns a function. So it returns a function with dispatch, property of dispatch, and then calls the API call, and then dispatches two different. Okay, so essentially it's a function that returns a function. So if you pass in that you want to make a sandwich with secret sauce or whatever, it would trigger the API call out, and then you can do like a then error response or like a successor error, basically. So all it does is makes it so you can bind the results based on, like, it just executes code for whatever you passed in. So like you pass in, hey, I want to do this, make a sandwich for this person. It returns a function back that you just execute, and it could be an error or a success. That's what I'm trying to get at. So the function, even though you're calling make a sandwich with secret sauce, it could be two different execution paths. is the concept. So that makes sense, but again, you can do that natively. Why do you need a library to do that? Thunk middleware knows how to return thunk asynchronous actions. But like, okay. Thunk middleware lets it dispatch thunk async actions as if they were actions. Okay, so it takes the asynchronous nature out of them? Is that kind of what the concept is? It even takes care of the thunk's return value from the dispatch. So I can chain promises as long as I can return them. Okay. But again, I feel like these are all things that you can do without a library. Like, where's the library coming into play? Is it just taking and consolidating the asynchronous function down? I feel like that may be what it's doing. Not sure. I noticed that I'm slouching more though. As the night progresses, I'm just like eventually it's just gonna be like this. Just like, alright, the next piece of code that I'm gonna be definitely sinking. Alright. So it looks like thunks, React thunks are essentially ways to make just web requests executable, like synchronously, I guess. So we'll see. So thunks, I mean, I don't have a full grasp on thunks, but I at least know what they are. Like, what their use is, which is important. And what the syntax looks like. The main concept I'm trying to get at right now is kind of getting familiarity with all of the libraries that I'll be using tomorrow. So, I mean, I've seen the project. I've already like opened it up and actually worked on a couple things, but I wanted to do like not a deep dive, but like know what syntax to look for if I see something and what the purpose of the library is. But we basically went through an insane list already. Like, this was the original list. This was what we originally went through for npm packages, which all of them make sense. A lot of them were super low key. Like, they were not even needed for one, or like such a small library that it doesn't even matter. But that's fine. Okay, so signalr, I'm not looking for it, not to lie. I know signalr is like socket, a socket library. So it opens up a web socket and basically real-time response, basically like Twitch chat. That's using sockets. So I don't know what they're using signalr for, but I'm not looking forward to it, that's for sure. So signalr basically builds this example for builder constructor hub connect builder. Oh, so this is actually an example of how to create a chat. Hub connection builder with URL. So it's basically declaring that the chat URL is the URL to have a socket on. And then let's actually do this so that I understand it. Let's put in an example project and make a chat library, I guess. Does this compile first off? Because I was messing. Nope. I was putting redux in here. And I'm not gonna spend the time to do that, so get redux out of here. No more redux. But we will add in signalr. Test that out. Or at least play around with that, see if we can get some sort of chat library going. But I assume I have to run it twice, like 2 different browser sessions, right? How's this gonna work? I gotta make a server and a client. Right? So example in the browser, example in Node.js. Is there a tutorial? That'd be nice. Oh, let's check out the API reference. Oh, it's Microsoft documentation too. I mean, obviously it's a Microsoft product, but it says ASP.NET in front of it. Well, let's try it. Did I install it first off? Yeah, it's done. Okay. I doubt it's gonna work the way I think it's gonna work. I doubt it's this simple. Oh, wait, why'd I do this? I don't want to do it. Well, we'll do import. Do it this way, signalr, I forget the syntax. Signalr from this package. See if that works. See if it doesn't horribly crash. Oh, it does. I gotta use this. I wish there was an example. It's not Microsoft's. Alright, let's do React signalr example tutorial. I don't want to watch a video. TypeScript, I don't really care about TypeScript. No. Okay, so there's the React project. All fine. We have to import hub connection probably. Well, let me see how the client's using it before I get too far into this freaking thing. See if it's even important. It looks like it's pretty involved. Ah. So is it for search feature, I guess? Our utilities. Sorry, I can't share this section. They do something like this, right? Then they build out the hub, which is not this. So they don't need the library in front of it. But they specify like with URL and then build, which is exactly like the documentation. Open, retry. Okay. Let's see if we can get ours working. Error not found. Is that because I don't have? Yeah, I don't have a chat route. What's this? Do the root. Nope, nothing. I mean, frankly, I don't care enough to get this working. But it looks like they use a signalr, or use signalr. For a search query to get a response back from a search. Okay. All right. Well, that all makes sense, and I think that's good enough of a baseline to end off of. So I think I might shut down the stream now. So it was a good little learning session. I definitely learned or got familiar with a lot of what was used in the project and a lot of the syntax of it all. So that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. Like, cause some of the stuff just doesn't natively make sense, especially when you get into like React and the fact that you can make like everything a JSX object. Like, or you can make things like custom JSX objects. So you see like formik, and you're like, what the hell is this? And you're like, oh, it's a wrapper that has custom features behind scenes that you can bind to. Or if you see like redux for React for the first time with like dunk, you're like, what the hell is this? So doesn't just like make native or natural sense. So yeah, this is a good stopping point. I do have to get some sleep before tomorrow. So anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for stopping in and kind of hanging out. Thanks for the new follows. And I think next time I'll be streaming, probably won't be tomorrow, but it probably maybe Friday morning I'll jump in and stream again. I don't know what I'll stream. Maybe some games. Maybe I'll do some more coding streams. We'll see. Seems like the coding streams are very hit or miss. Like, people come in and they're like, this is super boring, super stale, but they're also stuff like where it's like it's better to stream and have boring content than not stream at all, I guess. At least in my opinion. But anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you later.